tools to do different things. You need a website, you need a Wix, you need funnels, you go click photos, you need courses, you use Teachable, you need text, you use a different one, membership, you just have all these different tools that you try to use Zapier to kind of tie them all together and make it work. But then the problem is that new entrepreneurs, especially, they get overwhelmed, and they don't have the team, they don't have the resources to pay for these 10 different tools to run their business. And then many times they just drop. And that's why one of the reasons they say, most new startup businesses fail, because one of the reasons that the tech stack is just clumsy and it's terrible and it's frustrating for them.
Welcome to the Building to Scale podcast, where we bring real entrepreneur stories that showcase the challenges and successes in building and scaling an entrepreneurial business. Our host, Jeff Chastain, is a business transformation coach with Admentis, where he coaches business leaders and their teams with a proven set of principles and tools, helping them gain clarity in and get more of what they want from their business. Make sure to stick around until the end of the show, and we will reveal how you can become our next guest.
Hey, everybody. Jeff Chastain here with the Building to Scale podcast, where I just get the opportunity, really, as always, to speak with really very different guests, very different entrepreneurial kind of business leaders, hearing their stories and their challenges. And as we've kind of heard over all the episodes, there's a lot of times consistent themes that come out, but every single person's story has been unique from their own angle and how they got there. So always love just diving in and getting a new story. So we'll come up, see what we come up with today. Today's guest with me here is Uyi Abraham out with it's Vonza, Vonza, and out of the Georgia area, Atlanta, Georgia, I believe is what you said there, Uyi?
Yeah, we're in Atlanta, Georgia.
So welcome to the show, and thank you for taking a few minutes out of I guess we're recording this on a Monday morning here, so getting the week started off right.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. I've heard such great things about you. I also get to watch some of your videos too, and you are the real deal. And I just really appreciate you for the opportunity to come on this wonderful podcast. I think it's going to be one of the top 10, podcasts soon. So I'm just so honored to be a part of the kind of the ground team, so it's a great joy to be here today.
Oh, thank you very much. It's always, like I said, always fun to talk to new people. It's every time, and that's really why I do this more than anything, is just to hear the stories. I enjoy hearing stories and sharing stories, because I've always looked at it and said, well, it doesn't matter. You're never going to be an expert in business, but it doesn't matter. There's always somebody a couple of steps behind you that can always learn from it. So that's why I love telling stories and love hearing stories. So tell us a little bit more about Vonza and what you got going on there.
Yeah, thank you so much. So Vonza is really an all-in-one platform that helps entrepreneurs to run their business in a simple way. The old way of running the business online, like in the 90s and early 2000s, is to have multiple tools to do different things. You need a website, you need a Wix, you need funnels, you go click photos, you need courses, you use Teachable, you need text, you use a different one, membership, you just have all these different tools that you try to use Zapier to kind of tie them all together and make it work. But then the problem is that new entrepreneurs, especially, they get overwhelmed, and they don't have the team, they don't have the resources to pay for these 10 different tools to run their business. And then many times they just drop. And that's why one of the reasons they say, most new startup businesses fail, because one of the reasons that the tech stack is just clumsy and it's terrible and it's frustrating for them. So that was the problem I had too. I just kind of got overwhelmed with having developers and teams and different things to run my businesses online. And one day I was like, why is there not a really good all-in-one platform that can do all the things I need for my coaching business, right, to help me run my business online? And I saw that there were some few here and there, but that called themselves an all-in-one platform, but don't really have all the tools I needed. So I decided to build a solution, which is Vonza.com, to be this all-in-one solution that offers 12 plus tools for entrepreneurs to run their business online. So thereby keeping your business simple, and also cheaper, because it's cheaper to pay for one tool than to pay for 10 tools, right? Yeah. And also to kind of eliminate a lot of tech broken integrations that do happen when plugins don't talk to each other very well. Then you need a team, I need developers, I need, programmers and stuff like that. So that's how Vonza came about. So we started working on Vonza around 2018. Anybody that know, I'm not a technical founder, so I can't really code well. So that means I have to depend on a team. So went through several teams, got scammed, by a team, paid a lot of money, and they produced a very whack job and disappeared. And it was crazy. I kind of got discouraged, but I knew that I was not only creating something for people, but something that I need myself in my own business. So I persevered, and then kind of keep going through teams until we now found the right dream team. So they were in beta for quite some time, and we officially went live on February 14th of 2020. So we're just really about 30 months in officially out of beta into Vonza, and it's just been a lot of fun since then.
Yeah, you're talking my language there from a simplicity standpoint, because that's what kills so many businesses. And a lot of times you don't look at it, or you don't realize that you're talking the technology tools. I've been there myself, kind of a thing. It's like, well, okay, we need an email mailing list. It's just one more program. Well, okay, now we need to do social media. It's just one more program. And like you said, before you know it, it creeps up on you. It's like, okay, now I've got 30 different platforms here. I actually just saw an email alert come in for me on Zapier failed on some process. Like, okay, somebody else need to go look at it. But still, that's the thing, is just there's so much stuff going on. And as like you said, as business leaders, we don't have, one, the expertise necessarily in that, but two, we shouldn't be spending our time down in the weeds on that right there. And that's really where I see a lot of companies, a lot of business owners kind of struggle to make that scaling that growth, because there's so much complexity going on. It's like, okay, they're constantly fighting fires. They're constantly trying to wrap their arms around this, put a little bit more duct tape around the system and keep all 30 of these tools together. So I get you for sure there. So what's obviously, and even from a software perspective, I've been tech background before, but the concept of beta, it's like, I wouldn't necessarily even call it that long, because it's great being in beta that far, and then you get a lot of kind of sense of where your customer is, where you need to move. So I think that's actually really good that you spent that long there. But even in the last, you said, so really almost about a year, you said February or so of 2020. So a little over a year with it now in public. What's been the changes that you've seen, either both in your beta as well as the public now, as all the decisions up front proven out, or have you had to make some pivots and some changes there?
Yeah, a lot of changes, and we're still changing, and many of the competitors in our space, they all have like big VCs backing them. So we are bootstrapped, so we self-funded. So it's a different route we have to take compared to these guys that have like these billions of dollars, really millions of dollars in their bank account given to them to run their business. So we've had to change a little bit. I think one of the most difficult part has been in a part of the messaging. Because when we started working on Vonza in 2018, a lot of the pros, they told us that it's not going to work, because people are not going to believe that you can really do all these things you say you're going to do. That it's better to just focus on one tool and just make it so good, instead of trying to offer like 12 different tools in one. But I thought that something was wrong with that thinking, because that was at like 2018 or so. I'm like, we have self-driving cars now in 2018, right? We have, technology have so evolved. Now you have an iPhone. You remember in the old days whereby your phone can only call and text people. If you're traveling, you gotta go get, you gotta get your CDs, bunch of CDs. You gotta go get your GPS, plug it into your car. These different things you have to do if you need a heart monitor or what do you call it, high blood pressure thing. You gotta have all these different things. But the iPhone does everything. It has your phone, your GPS, it even have a heart monitor and all of these things, right? And I'm sure people told Steve Jobs that it could not be done. So I'm like, it can be done, because technology is so advanced now that really you can really do multiple things. Look at Amazon too. They don't just sell, have a marketplace. They have several businesses they run. So we proved them wrong, but we still had to kind of struggle with the messaging a little bit, because I kept going back and forward, the professionals giving all these different opinions and stuff. So recently I'm like, stop. I'm just going to go with my heart and go with the original reason why we founded Vonza, which is to make online business simple, to give entrepreneurs that need that solution and all in one field. Now, some people have a team like you. I'm sure you have a team, you have resources. You can hire 10 developers. They can connect your plugins, your Zapier, all of all this stuff, right? But most people just starting out, they don't have that privilege, and then they get overwhelmed, they get burnt out because they cannot keep up with this different technology stack. But Vonza makes it so simple. That one dashboard, you have all your entire tools, all your entire business in one place, So we've had to kind of go through some of that, and I have to kind of grow personally too. So we went out of beta February 14th of 2020, 13 months in. I mean, we've broken the 10K, 10,000 MRR, which is like the magic number. With SaaS, which is our company style or company model, to put that in perspective, I don't know if you've heard of ConvertKit, which is an email provided service. It took them 18 months. Now they're doing millions of dollars. It took them 18 months to get to 10K MRR. Calendly, which is another popular. I just had a talk with him like 2 weeks ago, and he told me like, wow, you guys are doing so well, because it took them 18 months too to get to 10,000 a month in revenue, but we did that in less than 30 months. So we have about 1,000 members or customers right now, and then just looking forward to just growing and just serving our customers better.
No, it makes sense, and there's a balance there for sure. Because on one hand, yeah, you need the outside expertise because honestly, you hadn't been down the path. But at the same time, if you get so much outside expertise that it's the old adage or whatever, you put 5 people in a room, you're going to get 6 opinions, kind of a thing there. You got to be careful of too much there, because you will be all over the place at that point. Because like you said, there's so much information, so much resources. Almost feel like it's a detriment these days that 10 years ago, you couldn't find the information, or even 15, kind of a thing. We didn't have all these resources. Yeah. Now we've almost swung the pendulum the other way of there's so much resources, so much stuff out there. And it even goes to what you're looking at right there. It's like, if I'm going to go look for an email provider or a mailing list provider, I was going to say there's 3 dozen out there easily, kind of a thing. They're big names. Is okay. How do I pick this? Again, this is not my area. Yeah. Whereas doing a simplified, hey, this is the entire stack, this is the entire solution, buy into it. Simplicity is the key, because and it's, to me, it doesn't even matter the size of the company, that even if you're a 25, 30, 40, 50 kind of person company, you may have a little bit more financial resources, but still, is putting all that into wrangling 10 different providers and tying them together, is that really the best use of your resources right there? Because we're still limited.
Yeah, that's so true. And also, I just want to share something too with maybe entrepreneurs listening, or people that want to become entrepreneur, just to kind of give a good nugget right here, which is, many times, starting out might look a little bit difficult, daunting, and overwhelming. But one of the things I've learned is just to stay true to myself, because if your business is going to pretty much carry the character of the founder. I wanted a solution that helps me to run my business in a simple way. So at the end of the day, after spending thousands of dollars with all the marketing people or the geniuses, bring all these opinions here and there, but the one I could sleep with at night was that, okay, the business really made sense to my original heart, a all-in-one solution, and not just follow these different marketing things. So sometimes as a founder, you gotta be true to yourself. You gotta be yourself. You gotta, know your true heart, your true passion. Because if you try to fake your business or fake to be who you're not, because it seems like that'll be the better strategy. It might work for a little bit, but it's not gonna work long term. So 5 years from now, I want to be able to say, okay, this is who we are, because that's who we are. And I have to remember, who were we last week? Last week we were this, today, this week we're that, right? So just be true to yourself. There are 7 billion. That's one of the thought process that helped me too, Jeff, was that there's 7 billion people on the planet. If I can get just 100,000 of them, I'll be fine. Or even 1,000 of them, I'll be fine, right? So I just need enough people that see the solution that we're providing, and not try to be this and that and then be who we're really not, just to get temporal gain,
Yeah, no, that's to me, that's really critical, because a lot of times, especially in the early startup phase, you're just grabbing it. Okay, somebody's going to offer me cash. Of course, we'll put in that feature. Of course, we'll do this. And you get so broad and so undefined. It's like you said, who are we at this point, that if you can even like you were saying, hey, yeah, your focus or your vision was to have the all-encompassing solution, not just one tool there, but still having that focus on that and not being, again, trying to be everything to everybody is really critical there, honestly, to growing at any stage, even at early stages, but even still later on. That a lot of times I'll look at companies and say they've got 10 different product lines, and I'll look at it from a profitability standpoint, and they don't even know which one's profitable. They know the company's profitable overall, but it's like you've gotten so wide, you may have 8 of those 10 that are losing money. And if you don't know it, but if you narrow down your focus and say, okay, where are we really good at? That's where you're going to be able to really do a significant time. I've seen 10x kind of returns on companies just narrowing down their focus and saying, okay, we don't need to be everything to everybody. We're going to be the best at this. It's I forget what the old adage or the story they talk about the amount of energy that the sun can put off, kind of a thing there. And worst case, you go outside and you get a sunburn, versus if you do a laser real tight focus there, you can cut through steel or diamonds. And to me, that's one of the keys for especially smaller businesses. We don't have the enterprise level resources. We don't have the power of the sun. We've got to focus everything really tight and make sure we're getting the maximum return on it.
Yeah.
So tell us more a little bit about your current role. I know you'd mentioned that you're not necessarily the tech type. How did you, I think we said 20 something employees right now with it.
Yeah.
So how did you kind of evolve into, I'm assuming you didn't run out the gate with that many employees. So how has that evolved over the last 3 or 4 years?
Yeah, we started small. My very first hire was our CTO, Chief Technology Officer, and he's based out of Pakistan. He's our chief developer. And then he was the one that really started putting the development team together. So out of that 23, we have about 15 engineers on staff, software engineers, developers. We have marketing team, SEO team, branding team, customer support team. Most of our tech staff all of our tech staff is outside of the USA. It's based out of Pakistan and India because we are bootstrapped, we can't afford an engineer in San Francisco, right? So what I'll pay one engineer in San Francisco, I'll pay my entire team outside the USA. So we have all of that. Philippines, we also have staff in Philippines as well. But our marketing team is based in the USA. So what my role is as a CEO is to make sure everything works in the company. Also, too, I'm the face of the company too, and I'm also focused on growth and strategic partnerships, exposure for the company, and also to funds too. Making sure I'm able to generate funds to keep the business going. So that's my everyday role right now.
So what kind of challenges? Obviously, we talked about the challenges with finding the right development team, but what kind of challenges did you run into of saying, okay, yeah, it's you and your CTO, we got to start hiring, we got to start growing, or finding additional resources there? Was it sounds like some of the hires weren't necessarily the best ones right off.
Yeah, a lot. We've had some turnovers too, usually too, you have people too where the guy we hired and the code they wrote was so bad. We even lost some customers over it because one of the features it built was really very, very buggy. So we had to kick him out. So we had to go through some of that, but we've really had that blessing and favor of God really on the business, that we've really had some really good people that are really passionate about Vonza. Like I literally beg my team sometimes to please take a day off, go to sleep, and these are people that could just, okay, I'm only giving you 40 hours a week, but they understand the vision for Vonza. They understand the passion. They understand what we're trying to achieve. We're trying to help entrepreneurs to keep their life, their business simple, right? And so it becomes a mission for them. So many of our guys have to beg them, please get off Slack, get off chatting mediums, take a day off and stuff like that. So, but we had to, initially we had some few, people that were not really up to par, really with what we're trying to do, or they wanted so much, they could be paid more some other places than what we could do. But we've really generally just been blessed by just having some really good people so far.
No, and I think that's really key, especially at the early stages when you can't necessarily afford to pay the San Francisco salary or whatever, but having everybody on board from a vision standpoint, from a mission kind of standpoint, to say, yes, we want to be part of this. We're not in this just for a paycheck, because we've had a couple of guests on that talk about outsourcing development, stuff like that. And if you don't have them really bought in, there's a challenge with that, and that somebody else is going to come along and I ask them or offer them a couple of dollars more kind of a thing there. And if they're only in it for the paycheck, then they're going to jump like that and leave you stranded there from a development standpoint. So the offshore can be challenging, but yeah, if you've got them bought into the mission, into the vision, then that's really critical more than anything from the higher perspective, in my opinion.
Yeah, very true, very true. And yeah, we've gone through some bad stuff too. Like the very first thing, like I said earlier, very first team I hired, they scammed me out of my money. They couldn't deliver the job, but it was just that consistency and just kind of follow my intuition. The CTO, maybe this might help somebody trying to hire team oversee. I used one of those popular marketplaces and stuff. It was really on me, and I ignored him for maybe 2 months. And he wouldn't stop. He just kept messaging me like, hey, trust me, give me a chance. I'm willing to work for free. So I saw his persistence, and I saw that he was willing to work for free. So that told me something about his character. That wasn't just somebody that was just trying to get some money, get a dollar or two. Somebody that really wanted to build something great, something cool. So maybe that might help somebody out there. So when you're interviewing people and all they want to talk about is money, how much you're going to pay them, what's your budget, they probably just deaf just for what they can get and not really trying to build long-term with you. So I was looking for long-term partners. And so money was not his primary thing. Just wanted to build something cool.
Yeah. No, I see a lot of that because even in the States kind of a thing, if you look at job boards or things like that, most of the jobs are, can you do Java? Can you do CSS? Whatever the technical skills are, can you do Word? Can you do whatever? It's like, okay, where's the buy-in to the company? Where's the culture side? Because to me, a culture fit is you can teach skills. If you know how to program Java and we're writing in C or something like that, you can teach that right there. You can't necessarily teach the culture, teach the buy-in, teach the fit there. They've really got to be bought into the overall mission of the company there. So really, really critical there. So you mentioned vision and stuff like that. Do you have a longer term picture, a longer term vision as to, okay, what are we shooting for in 5 years and 10 years?
Wow. Jeff, you are going to make me say something that I'm going to say for the first time. So my long-term vision is 10 years. I don't know, maybe it might take longer time. I don't know, but I really feel like the tool we're providing should make Vonza become a $1 billion ARR company someday. That's a company that brings in $1 billion a year, because we have so many tools we've built now, and we have some other tools we're going to be building soon that just makes it, that will really help us to grow and increase our customer base. So if you don't come for courses, you're probably going to come for a fintech product, or you might come for this or that. So we're going to be able to serve hundreds and millions of customers because we offer such a wide range of services. So our long-term goal is to have 1 million customers, just like Shopify, and also to at least $1 billion a year in revenue. So that's our long-term goal.
Nice. And it's really, to me, because that's one reason I always ask that of businesses I'm talking to, is that's your long-term picture that hopefully the rest of your team is buying into and saying, yes, we're going to work to make this happen in 10 years, or whether it takes 12 or something like that. But it's the companies I talk to that basically are just looking at tomorrow. We're going to go get this next release out, or we're going to go get this new market or whatever. It's like, you don't have any direction at that point. I equate it to, you're going to go run a race without having a timer or without having a finish line or anything. You're out for a jog at that point. You're not really striving at something. So it's good to hear that you've got that, and no, perfectly fine with it. Nothing to be shy or ashamed or anything about right there. Go publish it and make sure that the team's all on board with it, kind of a thing. That's huge.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. Try and work hard. We're working hard every day to serve our customers and to put the word out there to let people know what we do. And that's kind of one of our biggest challenge right now, to really market, to really market and take the word out there. Because just like in entrepreneurship, if your customers don't know you exist, they can't do business with you. So now our focus now is to okay, let's shout, let's scream, let's tell the world what we offer.
Yeah, no, that's, again, to me, one of the unfortunate challenges of online business these days is that used to be okay, you had to put up the storefront or whatever kind of a thing there. But these days it's so easy to just throw up a website, throw up a business up there. But because of that, there's a million kind of things out and a million businesses out there. So how do you differentiate? How do you get that word out and that marketing out? And that's, you can have an incredible product, but if there's no visibility to it, then it really doesn't matter at all. So it's one where I look at, it's like, okay, you got to lift the entire ship at once. It's great having a product with your operations side, but you got to have the sales and marketing figured out as well there. So yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I think you're on it though. I think you're really on it, so just so excited and persistence, was one of the key too for maybe an entrepreneur or, someone listening to the podcast, persistence. I came to America with $100 to my name and a suitcase of clothes. I've been homeless. I have had nothing. I've had to sleep on gas stations, but I've always been persistent. And also try to look at the long-term game instead of just the short-term gain. And that's made a big difference as well, because whenever I come on podcasts, I always try to also give people like practical things, nuggets that they can take with them and that can work for them, So if you were to ask me, what's the number one thing that my secret weapon, so to speak, is just persistence and play the long-term game.
No, and I think both of those are key because we look at business and we kind of glorify, especially the startup phases. Hey, you're going to go start up a new business. Congratulations. Great for you. It's like, there's very little glory in startup. It's persistence and survival. Hey, can we get through this? But even still, each new phase of business brings new challenges kind of a thing in terms of how dealing with employees, dealing with structure, things like that. So it's having that persistence, but even still, that to me, that goes back to the vision of saying, having that long-term game, that long-term goal out there. Because when you're just looking at it for tomorrow, there's going to be, in this case, there's going to be a major pandemic, but there's going to be a storm or something come along. It's never a smooth ride, unfortunately. But no, I'd say one, congratulations, but two, just the persistence of sticking with that, because too many people, especially these days, seem to, the first hurdle they come to is like, I give up, this is not going to work, or blame somebody else for it. And business really requires that persistence, that fight to say, we're going to push through this. We're going to tackle this challenge and we're going to move on to the next one, kind of a thing there, and just keep moving with it.
Yeah, very, very true.
So always like I said earlier, kind of wrapping up, and you may have already kind of hit on it, but still, if you were to kind of look back and say, hey, if I just, even 2 years ago or so with Vonza, I know you'd said you did some coaching and stuff before then, but what's kind of that one or two things, maybe if you can limit it to that, come to mind as to say, okay, if I had just tried this sooner, or if I had just done this sooner, things might have been a little bit easier on this path that I've been down. Does anything come to mind?
Yes, quite a few, but let me just give like two or three, right? Number one is, I think I also mentioned this earlier, was to, if I would have just been more comfortable in my own skin better. Because at first, I wasted a lot of time trying to find a face for the company. I'm Nigerian, and there's not a lot of African Americans, even Africans, doing tech in America. So I spent a lot of time trying to find, the perfect face, the perfect CEO and stuff like that. And that's time I could have put into really growing the company. But it was when I was like, okay, this is the founder of Vonza, this is what we do. Then people began to say, hey, I like your story. I like what you're doing. So let's connect with that. So number one, I would have stayed true to myself sooner. And number two, I think I'm kind of maturing now to more like be more, to kind of trust the process a little bit better, because I was kind of a little bit stressed and anxious, anxiety over different things, things would break sometimes. I remember first time get a bug in the system, I'm stressing out, so I think my second thing would be, I would have just kind of be more calmer, just more calmer, enjoy the process a little bit better. A year ago, it was a marathon for me. But now I've grown so much, and I'm seeing that it's not a marathon, it's a cross-country race, it's a long-term goal, long-term strategy. So now I'm more kind of relaxed, focused, but also to working as hard as I've always done. But now having that extra stress and anxiety on me. And maybe that might be something that might be useful to somebody listening to this podcast right now, that if you want to, grow a plant, you probably can grow in a few months. But if you want to grow a tree, it's going to take years. But no matter the difficulty you go through along the way, don't stop. Just keep working on what you're doing every day and keep working on yourself too. Because one of the things I also learned too was that my business cannot outgrow me.
Yeah.
So the rate I grow is going to determine the rate the business will grow. So if I want the business to grow, I have to first grow me. So I've had to spend a lot of resources on personal coaching, masterminds, and stuff like that to help me to grow so that my personal capacity will be huge enough to carry the capacity of the business as a leader and the founder, So that's some few tips, that maybe might help somebody listening today.
No, I like that, especially the last one, because I heard somebody say at one point, okay, if you've got a $5 million business, you've got a $5 million system running that business, that you can't run a $100 million business on a $5 million system kind of a thing. You got to grow. You got to keep building that system, build those people underneath it if you're going to grow that business. So I really like that idea, because I'm the same way. I'm a huge reader. I'm always looking at different tools, different systems. It's funny that I keep returning back to this on a lot of episodes, but I work with high school kids quite a bit, and to see their short-term outlook to say, hey, all I got to do is get to graduation and I'm done, or all I got to do is get through college and I'm done. It's like, you're just starting to learn here. Yeah, you may not you may not need biology in the future, but the whole point of this course is to teach you how to learn how to teach yourself, because this doesn't end here. Then the like you said, the quicker it ends, or the sooner you stop from that learning perspective, you're just putting a ceiling over yourself at that point, saying, okay, I can't go any further than this. I can't grow any further. And that's not a way to run a successful business, for sure.
Very, very true. Very, very true. And I hope they listen to you too, because
some days you wonder.
Yeah, because the moment anybody start learning, they start dying.
Yeah.
So learning is a long-term game. Is a forever thing. And the more we learn and we apply what we learn, the better we become.
Definitely. So I really enjoyed the conversation. If any of the listeners want to check out Vonza and find some more out about you, where's the best place they can go find you?
Thank you so much. So Vonza.com, VONZA, Vonza.com is the place for our software. And to know more about me, you can go to my first and last name, UyiAbraham.com. But if you go to Vonza.com and you go to the About page, you're going to see other ways to get me as well.
Gotcha. And yeah, we'll have all the links right here below the video. So they'll be ready to get right to you right there. So I appreciate the time, appreciate the story. It was, like I said, always different, always fun. So congratulations on the new company start here. And hopefully we'll see that $1 billion mark here pretty quick.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. Now you are the best in the game.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Building to Scale podcast. If you would like to share your entrepreneurial business growth story, please visit buildingtoscale.com/guest. If you got something out of this interview, would you do both us and our guest a favor and share it on your social media accounts? Don't forget to hit subscribe in your player so that you don't miss any future episodes, and make sure to reach out to Jeff Chastain on any of the major social media networks, or check us out at admentis.com.